Far beyond the rim of mapped space, there lived a species humanity barely understood: the Averin. Small, soft-furred, four-eared little creatures with eyes too large for their faces and tails that curled like question marks. To the humans stationed on the moon's first research outpost, they were simply alien cubs. And they absolutely loved apples. No one knew why. None of the humans brought apple trees. The Terranine soil had no Terran fruit. Yet somehow, somewhere, the cubs had found them first. Lieutenant Farah Khan discovered it by accident. She had taken a lunch break beside the shuttle pad, an apple in hand-bright red, shining, sweet as memory. She raised it toward her mouth, but before she could bite, a blur of fur shot out of a bush. A tiny Averin cub stood on hind paws, trembling with excitement. Its nose twitching frantically. Farah blinked. "Hey there, little buddy. You want this?" The cub gave a single chirp, a sound like please. She offered the apple. The cub snatched it delicately, as though holding a sacred relic, and scurried backward. Then, in a ritualistically slow movement, it took a bite. Its eyes widened. It gave a blissful trill that echoed through the clearing. Then came more cubs. 5, 10, 20. An entire furry mob popped out of the bush, watching the lucky one devour its treasure. Farah gasped, "Oh no, I'm going to need more apples." When she returned to base the next day with a sack of 20, she realized her mistake. 100 cubs were waiting. She was instantly promoted by unanimous alien decree to keeper of apples. The outpost scientists scrambled to understand the obsession. How do they know apples are safe? Why crave a fruit they've never evolved with? Did one of our survey drones leak seeds? But theories dissolved when a teenage Averin cub, a little larger, wearing tribal beads woven with shimmering leaves, approached Farah one afternoon with a strange gift. A rolled strip of woven bark. Inside, a drawing, a tree, round fruit, a sun overhead. And beneath it, Averin dancing. Farah understood. "These apples mean something to them," she whispered. Perhaps ancestral memory, or myth, maybe a story lost in time, but real enough to move stars. Humanity, being very human, tried to help. Commander Adler issued a project directive. Grow more apples. They'd planted earthborn seeds in the Litteran soil. Most died, some sprouted weakly. But humans are stubborn, especially in HFY stories, and they refused to quit. Botanists tinkered. Engineers built soil conditioners. Kids on Earth sent advice videos, and the Averin cubs? They watched humans work with wide eyes, whispering chirps of awe. For the first time since landing, humans realized they weren't studying the Averin. They were being watched, measured, and perhaps admired. 3 moons passed. One dawn, the orchard bloomed. Averin cubs sprinted through the rows, their paws dancing in dew. Their chittering laughter sounded like wind chimes. Farah cried. No scientific breakthrough had ever felt so human. But paradise doesn't stay safe. A hyperstorm rolled in from the polar methane sea's black clouds, violet lightning, planetary winds capable of tearing plating off a dropship. The orchard stood directly in its path. The Averin fled to their burrows, shrieking helplessly. Commander Adler asked, "Should we evacuate?" Farah shook her head. Not without protecting the orchard. No one questioned her. Humans, especially the stubborn kind, do really dumb, brave things for the ones they love. They anchored saplings with synthetic mesh, raised windbreak shields, sank emergency stabilizers, stood waist-deep in freezing rain while lightning turned the sky white. Adler shouted through the storm, "Why are we doing this?" Farah yelled back, "Because IT matters to them." And that was enough. Hours passed. Winds screamed like angry gods, but the orchard held. When the storm finally died, human and Averin alike emerged to see. The tree still stood. That evening, the Averin elders came. Tall, slender, fur-streaked silver, eyes glowing like twilight. They bowed. Tiny hands, barely big enough to wrap around a human finger, extended new gifts, woven cords, stone beads, and a polished metal disc etched with symbols. Farah asked softly, "Do you understand why we helped?" The elder nodded and spoke slowly and halting. Practiced English the first time any human had heard words from their mouths. "You grow fruit, for cubs. You protect tree, for future." Human good, Farah's breath caught. "But why apples?" she asked. The elder touched the metal disc. It flickered alive with holoprojection, a star field, a ship, small figures holding round fruit. Farah realized the Averan ancestors had once traveled the stars. They had known apples, lost them, forgot their ships, remembered only the joy. And humans, mere newcomers, brought that joy back. From that night forward, Averan and humans worked together. Humans taught soil sciences. Averan taught tracking, tunneling, and the wind-reading art that predicted storms. Children played between apple rows, species barriers forgotten. The first harvest festival saw cubs clinging to Farah's uniform, begging for more slices, more stories, more hugs. Commander Adler joked, "Well, Lieutenant, we didn't plan diplomacy through fruit." Farah grinned, but it worked. And every human on Litera 9 agreed. HFY was never about strength. It was about kindness. About choosing to help, even when you don't have to. About planting trees that feed someone else's children. Years later, orbital ships from Earth saw something miraculous. Not a base. Not a camp, but a forest. Apple trees stretching for kilometers, grown by two species together. Human carpenters and Averan burrow architects building homes side by side. Cubs racing between branches, dropping apples into human hands with squeaking laughter. And each traveler who landed heard the same greeting. A little Averan cub running up with an apple, offering the first bite. Because on Litera 9, it was the highest honor. And if you asked how it all began, the story always started the same way, with a human, a hungry cub, and one sharing heart.